Hi, Tammy Goebel here. What do you do with this many apples? Oh my goodness, I have a plethora amount of apples all ready for carameled apples. So I'm going to teach you how to make carameled apples today and a healthy recipe if you're paleo right now, a paleo caramel apple recipe that you are going to love. Now, the very first step you do is you bring home your apples and put them in a bowl to wash them off in 11.5. Now 11.5 is what this machine makes that is so strong in alkalinity that it just takes the pesticides right off. My dad did spray these trees twice, so they do have pesticides on them. So gonna get all those pesticides off with the 11.5 water. The next step is you're gonna start your healthy caramel recipe first because it takes 40 minutes for that to boil. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get yourself a nice pan, about a 2-quart size pan. Pour in the coconut milk. So it's 1 can of coconut milk, and it's the kind that has the fat in it, not the light. All right, then you're going to put in a 1/2 cup of honey, or you can do a 1/2 cup of maple syrup, but I'm going to do honey. So here's my 1/2 cup. The recipe also calls for 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, but not right now. But the reason why I'm going to do that first, put it in here, so the honey won't stick. So I'm just going to kind of move it around a little, put this in later, because this 2 tablespoons of coconut oil comes at towards the end of the recipe. All right, so you have 1 can of coconut milk, a 1/2 cup of oil.
Not oil, honey.
It got really cold last night, so this honey is a little on the thick side. So it's a good thing I put that oil in there so it'll come sliding right out when it's time. Okay, and this is why I also can't do it live because it takes forever and people will get bored watching the honey come out. All right, so we got our 1/2 cup of honey in there. And it just slides right out of the 1/2 cup. See, nice and smooth because it had a little bit of coconut oil in it first. Then what I do is I put this on the stove and cook it for 40 minutes. So I'll come back in 40 minutes and show you what it's looking like and the other 2 ingredients that you want. Okay, so while that is boiling over there, I get my toppings ready for the other batch of caramel. So this is the healthy batch that's boiling. But with all those apples, I want to give some away to my neighbors and family, and they might not want my nice little paleo batch of caramel. That's for me. So let me show you what I do to get ready for the other caramel we're going to make up. So I pull a bunch of peanuts. I just get this nice big thing of peanuts from Costco and just chop them up nice and fine. So after I get those chopped up, I set them aside. Okay, after I have my peanuts all chopped up, I open up a little bag of mini M&Ms and get them ready in a bowl. And then I'm going to get up my Oreos ready. So I put them in a Ziploc baggie and make sure the air's out so they don't explode the thing. And then I just take a hammer and smash them, and I'm sure that's really loud on the video. So you smash the Oreos and turn them into crumbs like this and set those aside, and then I'm going to start making the caramel that I give away to people and that my family eats. And honestly, I have some too. I'm just showing you 2 recipes, the really yummy one and the healthier one. Okay? The reason why you want to get all the prep work done ahead of time is because the other caramel cooks really, really fast, and you got to stay there and stir it the whole time. So there's not time to go and do this, that, or the other. And I'm the only one home, so I don't have anyone to help me videotape or watch the caramel. So I've got the dried apples ready to go. I've got the toppings ready to go, and these dried apples. And then the next thing you do is you're going to put in the sticks. Okay, so you take these little sticks. I just get these off of Amazon, or you can buy them at Walmart, or a craft store will have them. And just stick it in the middle and give it a little tap. prepare, excuse the noise when it does that, I'll be more careful. I like to prepare 12 to 14 apples so they're all ready to go. Because when the caramel is hot and comes off the stove, it sets up fast. Like you don't have much time. On the last couple of apples, it's like you're, pasting it on instead of dipping it, because the caramel dries really fast. So get about 12 to 14 apples ready to dip before you make your caramel. So we're all prepared, we're ready to go. That's still boiling over there, and now I'm going to get the other caramel going. You might as well make both batches at the same time. So for this good apple, carameled apple, I mean they're both good, but you know what I mean. You need 2 cups. 2 cups of sugar and 2 cups of caramel syrup. You guys are used to seeing me make healthy recipes, and I am just going to have to apologize right now because it is candy making season, and I've been making chocolates for 28 years. It's tradition for me to make chocolates. Every single year I make chocolates and give them to people and friends, and so don't think I'm a hypocrite that I'm making delicious chocolates even though I try to eat healthy. I'm not perfect. I have chocolates at Christmas time and carameled apples at Halloween time. All right, so we've got our 2 cups of caramel syrup in there and 2 cups of sugar. And now I'm going to go put this on the stove and let it boil for about 15 minutes before I add the cream. Okay, so if you can see what I got going on here, I've got this delicious caramel, the Paleo recipe. And then I just barely put this one on the stove with the sugar and the caramel and syrup. So I'm going to be, corn syrup is what that is. So I'm going to be stirring that around. Oh, and check out my lunch. My cabbage soup. It's all warmed up, ready for me to eat. Well, these are boiling. You gotta eat your fat-burning cabbage soup if you're going to make yourself carameled apple to eat too, okay? Gotta balance things out. When is the last time you made yourself a delicious batch of cabbage soup? You should always have cabbage soup ready to go in your fridge. You can just warm up a bowl whenever you need it, because it is delish, my friends. Very delish. Caramel's still boiling. Eating my fat-burning soup while I'm waiting for my caramel. That's what I do. Okay, another important step is to get a bowl of ice cold water ready to go. All right, so this is how the Paleo caramel's looking. I just come over here and stir it every once in a while. And notice I only have it on medium, never high. High just burns things really fast. And I've got my normal caramel getting ready to boil right here. And then I have my ice water. Why do I need ice water? Because when this starts to boil and turn caramely, I take a scoop, dump it in my ice water, and that's how I test to see if it's ready to get out of the pan and start dipping. I test because it's so hot in there it looks liquidy, but when you pour it in the ice water, it cools it down so fast that it will tell you that you can fill it and see if it's the right consistency for caramel. Okay, while that's boiling, you want to get your next step ready, which is your cream mixture. And this is what you're going to go put in the microwave and scald. All right, you got to get your whipped cream and your can of Eagle brand melted and warm first before you can finish making your caramel. So the next step is 2 cups of cream. And I just put it in a glass jar, glass bowl like this that I can, a microwavable bowl that I can go put in the microwave. 2 cups. I mean, so the recipe is really easy, guys. It's 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of corn syrup, 2 cups of cream, 1 can of Eagle brand sweetened and condensed milk. And I just pour these two together like this, mix them up, and stick it in the microwave until it's really warm. Don't burn it, just scald it. The top is scalded, and it's nice and warm through and through. The hot cream mixture ready to almost go in this boiling syrup mixture. And I'm thinking the Paleo caramel over here is ready for the finishing touches. So the finishing touches are a tablespoon of coconut oil and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. All right, so 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, and then you boil it for another 5 minutes. So I just added those 2 ingredients and mix it like this. I'm going to set my timer for 5 minutes, and then this cooks another 5 minutes. And this will be our delicious Paleo caramel dip. Just to remind you of the recipe again, it was 1 can of coconut milk, full fat, a half a cup of maple syrup or honey. I used honey, raw honey, 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. This is ready for the hot syrup, the hot cream. So I pour that in there like this, and I just do a little bit at a time. And this thing boils and boils in the steam, and it kind of hurts your hand, and it could ruin your phone if it's right above it. So when this gets incorporated, then I will pour in some more of that hot milk mixture. You do it slowly. You pour in the hot milk mixture slowly. The caramel that you saw me cooking on the stove in this pan made this much caramel. Just that little teeny thing. That's why you have to make a batch of the other kind of caramel if you're going to give it away to people, and save this little Paleo batch for yourself. I now have all the cream in here, and now you just have to keep stirring it. Once you get all the cream in the big caramel batch, you have to continue to stir it or it will burn on the bottom. Okay, when the caramel starts to look about this color, it's a good idea to test it to see about how much longer you need to cook it. So you just take a little spoon and you dump it in the cold ice water. And what that does is it cools it down to the point where you can handle it and fill it. Now I can tell right now that it's still too juicy. See, it's not setting up, so I know I need to keep cooking, and I will test again in a moment. All right, I just put some more in there, and look, you can see how it's shaped. So it is ready, my folks, it is ready. So the next thing I'm going to do is turn off the heat, add 2 teaspoons of vanilla, stir it, stir it, stir it. It'll start to steam up, and then I'm going to go over and start dipping the caramels. Okay, so I did a live video on this, but I'm going to finish this behind the scenes video. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking these apples and dipping them in the caramel. And by the way, I tasted that Paleo sauce. Oh, it's so yummy. You're going to have to try that recipe, you guys. So yummy. Okay, so I finished. I dip these apples like this, and then I choose which one of the toppings I want to put it in. And just dip the sides like this. Stick it over here in this styrofoam wedge so that they don't, because if you put them just like this, see, they pool down at the end. You see the pooling going on? So then I turn them back up over like this. And this is when many hands come in, because if they start to fall off, oh man, never had it do that before. Check that out. That is a first for me. So that's why you got to go back and forth. So this one like this, that's got to sit like that for a minute, and then pretty soon I might have to turn it back over like this. You kind of watch them and go back and forth. Many hands are helpful when you're making carameled apples, that you can have the kids, here, it's time for you to hold this one. It's coming off. And you just kind of go back and forth so they don't all pool. So in a little while, then I'll take some of these and turn them back upside down again. But that's the end of the caramel apple demonstration. Thanks for watching.